years ago, I had a WhatsApp group and it was called Shine, and I would post almost daily. And it was just to friends and family and friends of friends, and it would be some kind of motivation, some kind of encouragement. And I did that for 7 years. 7 years before I started coaching, and I didn't even realize that that was what I was doing all along. I was just speaking out of the overflow of my own revelation and what was in my heart, and I wanted to share and encourage people who were just going through life and let them know that there is another perspective, there is another way to look at things. Because when you have gone through something like I have gone through, I had an issue that I was dealing with that my doctors could not explain. My periods were basically out of control. I was bleeding for anywhere from a week to 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks out of the month. And when I tell you that, that's something that really, it hits you mentally, it hits you emotionally, it hits you spiritually in so many ways. And there were days when, I'm going to be honest, I pretended to be happy and I pretended my way through the day. But somewhere in the midst of that, I really got tired of pretending. I got tired of smiling when I felt like I was crumbling inside. I got tired of showing up as expected when I just wanted to stay in bed and I didn't want to face the day. I got tired of that. I got tired of lying to myself, basically. And I said this on a call the other day, and it's something that I have found myself saying often in the past. Your soul knows when you are lying. Your soul knows when you are pretending to be happy. And your soul also knows when you are genuinely in alignment with everything that God created you to be, even if your environment doesn't look like it. And I had to transition out of a state of pretending to a state of embodying everything that God wanted me to be. And part of what He wanted me to be was healed. And on October 22nd, 2021, the bleeding stopped. I was 46 years old and I haven't had a period since, and I'm about to be 49. So you cannot tell me that God doesn't heal. And even my doctor was a little confused, because I don't think she wants to call it menopause, because it didn't happen in a conventional way. I went from bleeding all the time to not bleeding at all. And now I can wear white whenever I want. So I love that. But one of the most valuable lessons that I have come out of this experience with is that you don't have to pretend. You don't have to pretend that you're okay. You don't have to pretend that you have all the answers. You're right? You don't have to pretend that everything's great. Let yourself be vulnerable with you. I think that sometimes we often look to other people to understand us and to empathize with us. But the truth is that no one, no other woman, no other man is going through what you are going through. This is an individual experience. Because we are all human, there are aspects of each life experience that we can share and that we can bond over. But nobody understands your experience like you. And nobody understands your experience like God. And until you bring God into that experience, until you bring God into that struggle, you will never be free. we are encouraged to be strong, and we are encouraged to be positive. And the truth is that it is hard to be positive, and it is hard to be strong when every single day you face the very thing that is the last thing that you want to see, that is the last thing that you want to experience, whether that's in our health, a relationship, a job you can't seem to get out of because you can't find another one, whatever it is. Get real with what's hurting you. When you get real with what's hurting you and you identify what it is that's hurting you, you know what you don't want. And that is a powerful place to be. Because when you know what you don't want, you can start to define what it is that you do want. And I'll tell you what that looked like for me was saying, I don't want a normal period. I'm done. I don't want a period at all. I literally started saying that. And that is what happened. And I don't think you might realize it, but whatever you verbalize, whatever desire you verbalize, that is a prayer, right? And whatever you complain about, whatever you worry about, whatever you murmur about, whatever you're mulling over in your mind, whatever disaster, calamity, negative thought, that is also a prayer. But it works in reverse. So one of the things that I learned through 10 years of this bleeding issue is how to get real with myself and how to define what I really wanted. And as a result of defining these things for my health, defining these things for my spirituality, because I needed to get to a place where I could even believe that healing was possible, I started to develop a system. And I was reading books like, what is that book that talks about your miracle morning, right? I was reading books like The Power of Now. And those really helped me along the way, but nothing was really working. Nothing was really gelling until I came up with the vision sequence. And it was birthed out of my own need to have hope, because I didn't have any hope. I would go to church every Sunday, and I honestly thought that God wanted to bless everybody but me. God wanted to heal everybody but me. And when the Bible talks about having faith as small as a mustard seed, trust me when I say that is all you need, because that is all I had. And I reached a point where I said, God, I do not know what to do. I need you to help me. I need you to help me have the faith. And it's so interesting because this year, my word of the year is flourish. And the F in flourish is faith. And faith is the foundation of everything I do. It is the foundation of my life. It is the foundation of how I'm building my family. It is the foundation of how I'm building my business. It is the foundation of how God has rebuilt me. So I can't do anything without my faith. And I wanna encourage you, even if your faith seems this big, that's enough. That's enough to start with, right? Don't feel like you have to be the person who prays and fasts and does all these things. You don't always have to do all that for God to meet you. When you truly admit to yourself that you are not okay and that you need God, that opens the door for him to come in. That's all he needs. He just needs that little crack in the door to step in. And when you let him in, trust and believe he is going to change your life. And not just your environment and not just your circumstance like he did for me, but he is going to change you, and he's going to change your mindset. And that's what the vision sequence is all about. It is having a visionary mindset. I call it victorious vision. The program that I'm developing, I'm redeveloping, is called Her Victorious Vision, and it's about being a woman who has that visionary mindset, not being the woman who is going to be negative and who's going to be worrying and who's going to be bringing other people down, the very people that she wants to motivate, that she wants to inspire, right? It's about being the woman who is going to rise above her circumstances despite what happens in life. So the V in the vision sequence is for visualize, right? You have to visualize what you want. You have to know what it looks like. You have to know what it feels like. You have to know what it smells like. You have to come out of, and this takes digging. I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you, oh, you can do this in 5 minutes. This takes digging, and it takes uncovering, and it takes unlearning. And it's not easy. That's why I'm teaching this, because this took me 10 years. I don't want you to have to wait 10 years to feel healed and to be free and to have a mindset where you can take on life, right? And not just take on the bad stuff and show how strong you are, but take on the good stuff and have the capacity to handle it, right? And have the capacity to also pour out to others, because there's so much good being poured into you. So the V is for visualize. After we visualize, and tell me if this doesn't happen, you internalize. And these are things that you've already internalized that come up after you visualize, right? And I'm going to give you one more after this one. When you internalize certain beliefs and certain values that contradict your vision, it is now hard for you to carry out that vision. So the second you get an idea, the second you get a positive thought, something in the back of your mind says, oh no, that's not possible. How is that going to happen? And the excuses start rolling in, and the negative thoughts start rolling in because of what's internalized, right? So this is about internalizing what is powerful, what is going to build you up, what is going to fuel your faith, what is going to keep you motivated and keep you moving forward in the direction of that vision. Because I believe that if God gives you a vision, He's also going to give you strategy. And part of that strategy is your mindset. Part of that strategy isn't just, okay, this is step 1, this is step 2, this is step 3. That's part of it. But the biggest part of that strategy is your mindset. The Bible talks about not being conformed to the world, but being transformed by the renewal of your mind. You have to renew your mind. You have to internalize what God says about you. You have to internalize what is true and what is right and what is good, and not what is negative from your past, even if your experiences have not lined up yet with what you know that God has promised. And the S is for sacrifice. We don't always like this part. But you're going to have to give something up to get what you want. You're going to have to give up that old mindset. You're going to have to give up the old habits. You're going to even have to give up the old vision. Some of you have given up on your vision, right? Because it hasn't come to fruition. It's never been your reality. You have this wish and this hope and this dream and this prayer in your heart that has never become your reality. So you give up on being a visionary, and you just take life as it comes. You just take, it is what it is. I'm just going to make the best of it. You were not created to make the best of it. You were created to overcome it. The first commandment to mankind, man and woman. So that's you, girl. That's you, lady. That's you, ma'am. The first commandment is to have dominion. to be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and have dominion. You can't have dominion if you're talking down to yourself. You can't have dominion if you feel like you lack the resources that you need. Right? So those are the first 3 steps. I won't give everything away in the vision sequence. I will share more as we go along, but I really want to encourage you that what you have experienced up until this point is not all there is. There is more to life than what you have experienced. And if your experiences have been negative, if your experiences have been disappointing, what could happen if you could have a visionary mindset? What could happen if you would become a woman with victorious vision? I hope this helps. Blessings on your journey. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.